songs that come.
Hi, everybody. Well, this is my first speech as a New Zealand writer-director, so I'll keep it brief as befits somebody who's still trying to get his head around the job. It's been a really great year for me. It's been humbling and fascinating, a year of trying to understand what APRA is, where it's going, and what challenges it faces. So what is it? It's a society of people who believe in the value of music. At its heart, it's a collection agency, keeping tabs on those who make money out of live or broadcast music, making sure some of that money goes back to the writers. But it also advocates on behalf of writers and feeds energy back into the music community through workshops, grants, and events like this. Where's it going? Well, in some ways, it's not going anywhere, actually. It's staying right where it is, a somewhat old-fashioned concept in a changing world, like a guild or a secret society that protects creative people. But in other ways, it's pushing ahead of technology. It's working with cutting-edge music recognition and watermarking software, striking deals with brand new music delivery systems, initiating new campaigns in the media to stand up for music and stand up for the work of composers and music writers. What challenges does it face? Well, surprisingly, there are a lot of people that would like to see our little society disappear. There's some who don't like the monopoly that APRA has and would prefer to see lots of little collection agencies that have less bargaining power. There's large hardware manufacturers and search engines who want to get rid of copyright altogether, claiming that that'll make culture available to everyone, when in fact they just want all content to be free so they can make even more squillions than they currently make. There's a big group who feel that free downloading is now a basic human right, and who lump APRA in with baddies like big record conglomerates, film companies, and people in the US military who refuse to tell us about captured aliens. But some of the most perplexing questions come from the members themselves. Part of this job is talking to members, and I've heard a lot of arguments from members that strike at the very heart of what we're about in this society. Question: is copyright a dead issue? The kids reckon they should get everything for free, so how can we fight that? Well, we can, by consistently sticking up for the value of music, both when we talk to our friends and in campaigns like Music Matters, which started in the UK and now is rolling out in New Zealand and Australia, by supporting laws that value music, by looking forward to a time when what we're experiencing now is considered to have been a brief Wild West period before things settle down. Question: isn't it uncool to talk about the value of music? I don't do this for money. I tend not to trust people who talk about money and music in the same sentence. You get this argument a lot here, where not much money can be made in music, and most people do it because they're passionate about it, rather than because they think there's a pot of gold somewhere. Well, we have to learn to talk about music and value. This is about future songwriters and composers. It's about the dignity of the work we do. If standing up for that means talking about dollars and cents, so be it. Generations of unionists have stood up for the dignity of labour, and the fact that that fight's often had to be fought in an economic context doesn't detract at all from the importance of that struggle. We're no different. Question: there are new ways of making music now, sampling, mashups, and so on. Doesn't all this talk of protecting music just come from old guy prejudice about these new forms of creativity? No, it doesn't. Creative people have always paid homage to other artists, used collage, quotes, taken inspiration from the work of others. Where someone's using some or all of those techniques to create a brand new work, that new work needs to be protected. If someone's stealing something and passing it off as their own work, they need to be stopped. Question: shouldn't we just give up, play live as much as we can, and look for other ways of making a living from what we do? T-shirts, for instance? No, we shouldn't. Well, in the short term, we should all do what we have to do to keep on making our music, but we shouldn't lose sight of the fact that we belong to a society of people who've put up their hands and said, we write music, it's central to our lives, and when we stand up from our desks and there's a new song or musical piece in the world, that new thing that we've made deserves to be looked after. At the World Copyright Summit in June, with my head spinning from all the speeches and panel discussions, I briefly met Hal David, who wrote a lot of the hits with Burt Bacharach. He's 90, and he told me he was working on a new stage musical. I was struck by how fragile he was, how small and human. Just a writer like the rest of us. If he hadn't been able to live by his music because his work had no value and he'd had to give up halfway through his career, what songs wouldn't he have written? Anyone who had a heart? Do you know the way to San Jose? Walk on by? It's hard to imagine the world without those songs. When you pick up your pen or turn on your iPad or your MPC with the intention of writing some music, what you do matters. So be glad and proud that you're part of this society. Thank you, and good luck with whatever it is that you're writing now. Thanks a lot.